Hello, I'm Dominic Walker, JMW's Inside Man, and I'm with Charlie Bradbury. Charlie is a trainee solicitor in JMW's Media and Entertainment Department. Hello, Charlie.
Hi, Dominic. Thanks for having me.
Nice to have you on the Inside Man, and I'll be honest, I didn't think you and I would be talking about the Sex Pistols on the Inside Man, but there has been a dispute. So I wondered if you could just give me an idea of what's been the background and what was decided.
Yeah, it's a really interesting case, and it's had a lot of media attention this week. Johnny Rotten was appearing on Good Morning Britain and was very highly critical of this outcome. So it involves the members of the Sex Pistols. They've been asked if their music can be used for an upcoming series that's going to be aired on FX and directed by Danny Boyle, based on a biopic of the Sex Pistols. Now, all the other members have agreed for the music to be used, but Johnny Rotten has been refusing. But in the agreement that they have, as a band, it contains a provision whereby they can assign their rights based on a majority, so they don't actually need to have Johnny's consent. However, he's arguing that that provision of the contract isn't enforceable, and that they've never intended it to be relied on. Instead, he says that unanimous consent is required and that each individual member has a veto.
It sounds complicated. So what happened in the end, Charlie?
So in the end, his arguments failed, Johnny Rotten's. He said that he relied on about 20 different examples, which he said proved that unanimous consent was required. Some of these involved the Crown, tours that Madonna was doing where they both wanted to use their music, and within emails it had said other band members had said we need to get Johnny's consent before we move forward. But what the court said was it wasn't that they were requiring unanimous consent, it was instead they just wanted to maintain good business relationships. So the next point was in terms of the contract itself, in terms of the wording of the contract, there was a provision saying that they need the majority rule, but then there was nothing in there to require Johnny to sign. So the court implied a term that said, once a majority has been reached, then there's an implied term that that member has to sign any licenses to grant the release of the music.
Sounds fascinating. Are there other examples then, high-profile examples where band members, bandmates have fallen out?
Yeah, there has been. There's been a dispute previously involving Pink Floyd, where one of their founding members submitted a claim against them because he wanted to block them from using the name because he'd left. Now, that was settled out of court and the band members were able to continue using the name. But similarly, you might recall in the last 5 or 10 years, there's been an ongoing dispute involving the Sugar Babes and the use of their name, because all the founding members had left and the name was being used by 3 new band members who were part of that founding group, but the original lineup didn't have the rights to the name.
When you set up a band, Charlie, you envisage on how to move instruments to gigs and that sort of thing. You wouldn't necessarily consider these sorts of disputes. What's your practical advice for band members in a similar scenario?
Well, the first one would be to have a written agreement and think carefully about the terms that are contained within it. If a band goes on to have huge success, then be thinking about how profits might be shared, how royalties might be shared. If someone leaves, then what happened to the name? And with the Sugar Babes had a written agreement, maybe that a situation that they were in might have been avoided. So it just shows the importance of clear drafting and involving lawyers to support you with that.
Excellent, Charlie. Thank you very much for your insight. And of course, Charlie and the team are available to provide any sort of advice. So if you'd like to contact Charlie, you can email insideman@jmw.co.uk or call 0161 82 81 999. I'm Dominic Walker, JMW's Inside Man.